Welcome back to Obscure Board Games. This is Conquest of Pangea. In this game, you and the other players control various species attempting to survive and dominate the ancient supercontinent of Pangea. To start, the supercontinent is assembled and the time and power decks are shuffled and placed on the board. Each player takes a set of population markers and a leader token. The first few rounds of the game set the stage for the following 150 million year battle. On your turn, draw a time card and place it on the timeline. Then, place one of your population markers in any empty space on that continent shown on the card and randomly draw a terrain type to place beside it. You gain the corresponding dominance card for that terrain and then play passes to the next person. Once all 25 areas of the board are claimed and assigned a terrain, reshuffle the time deck and the stage is now set for the evolutionary arms race on Pangea. Each section on the board has a terrain which can support a maximum number of animals represented by the population markers. Whoever has the most population markers in a section claims dominance over the region. If someone already has dominance, they take the corresponding dominance card from the previous leader. At the beginning of each turn, you have a base total of 5 points you're allowed to spend. To place a population marker in a region, you must pay the number of points equal to the max number of species allowed in that space. So for example, it costs 4 of the 5 points to place a marker in the forest terrain. Population markers, however, may only be placed in regions in which you already have markers, in a region adjacent to one with 2 of your markers, or, once full, you may battle another player to steal a spot in a region from them. Whenever a player assumes dominance of a region, they place their marker at the top of the stack and take the corresponding dominance card from the previous leader. Once you collect 2 dominance cards of a single terrain, you may collect its corresponding power card, which grants the user with special abilities to avoid natural disasters and aid in battles. At the end of each turn, you take a temporary power card from the board. These temporarily offer more spending points and special powers to allow you to shift the balance of power throughout the game. You also get a bonus power card at the end of your turn if you expand or invade a region successfully during your turn. Battles are fought to invade full regions of the map. To battle another player, pay the normal amount of points and place a population marker there next to the current stack. Then select your opponent and secretly select as many power cards as you wish to add to your battle total. Your opponent does the same with their cards, then both reveal at the same time. If the defending player is outbid, they have one chance to add one extra card to their bid, in which case they successfully defend their land and the stack doesn't change. Otherwise, the invading player wins, they replace the defending marker with their own, and they adjust dominance if needed. Finally, you gain your leader token at the end of a turn in which you dominate 3 or more adjacent regions. On a future turn, you can place this leader in one of these regions and gain a free population marker there at the beginning of each future turn. You can then move the leader up to 3 spaces on subsequent turns, ensuring you have a steady supply of population in certain areas. Once your turn is over and you have spent all of your points, take any dominance cards, if applicable, and draw your new temporary power cards. Finally, flip over the top time card and place it on top of the timeline. The timeline is the game's timer. These cards will describe some event, typically a natural disaster, the time span over which it occurs, and some instructions for you to follow that changes the game in chaotic ways. Typically, you'll have to decide which of your markers will be affected by some natural disaster on a continent, but dominance power cards can help protect you from these. Once the exposed timeline adds up to at least 25 million years, a continent breaks off. The continent is decided by the top time card and shows the order of the breakup to be followed. At each breakup, move the corresponding continent away from Pangea and clear the timeline. If you manage to gain the Aqua Able Dominance Power card or obtain a raft through a temporary power card, you may use these to migrate across a newly formed ocean between continents. But eventually, the 6th continent breaks away from Africa and the game ends. The person who collected the most dominance power points wins the game. If there's a tie, then the one with the most dominance cards overall wins. Will you dominate Pangea, or will you be outcompeted and forced into extinction?